Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to my continuing Friday series where I talk about all things related to nutrition and wellness. I hope you guys had a wonderful Halloween. And I don't know. I'm excited for this weekend. It was so funny. My daughter this morning, I've kind of like hit my limit with wearing sweatpants and sweatshirts all day long. So today I threw on a pair of jeans and a sweater just to feel a little bit normal. And my daughter at breakfast was like, "Oh, mommy, you look so pretty today." And I'm like, "Oh my goodness." So I need to start, wearing more normal clothes so she doesn't think that all I wear are sweatpants. But anyway, I thought that was funny. That kind of brightened up my day. Uh, so again, welcome to my live series, and if you're not catching this live, hopefully you can catch the replay, where I cover all things related to nutrition and autoimmune diseases, intuitive eating, and general wellness tips. So the holidays are upon us. This is the most exciting and magical time of the year, but there's no better way to kick off November with a discussion about how to survive the holidays, especially if you're on a specific eating plan or have food sensitivities and intolerances, because that can be challenging with so many events going on. Well, maybe not this year, but usually you have a lot of things going on, and lots of parties and date nights and things going on in terms of celebrating the holidays. So food can be kind of stressful, especially if you follow a certain eating plan, or all year you've been doing really well, practicing mindful eating or intuitive eating, and then all of a sudden you get to a party and you're like, I don't know how to handle this. So we're just going to discuss a couple of tips to kind of help you start thinking about ways that you can make it through this holiday without feeling so overwhelmed and stressed out. So first, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Annie Rubin. I am a registered dietitian nutritionist, and I own my own practice based out of Palo Alto, but I do mostly virtual, actually all virtual sessions right now. And most of the adults that I work with in my practice are struggling with autoimmune or inflammatory conditions. That could be pain, fatigue, digestive challenges, and basically reduced quality of life. So my goal is really to work with clients and figure out a good nutrition plan for them, because nutrition and food can really impact your disease and your symptoms that you have, to kind of hopefully alleviate some of those so you can live a vibrant and fulfilling life. So for those of you watching, I just want to know if you have any special holiday hacks or tips that help you stick with your nutrition plan. So just let me know in the comments, or if you want to afterwards, drop them in the comment section when I post it on my feed. Feel free to do that. So before I jump in, I always needed to attach a disclaimer to this video. That the information in today's talk is not a substitute for the diagnosis, treatment, or care of a disease by a medical provider. This is for informational purposes only, so please consult your qualified health professional for any changes to your medical care. Okay, so tips on surviving the holidays. My number one tip is have an eating plan in place. So celebrations and food go hand in hand. A lot of times when we go to celebrate, food is a part of that. Culturally, we've always used food as a way to celebrate events, holidays, so forth. So even in the midst of a pandemic, people are still doing some type of celebration this year. So my best advice for managing the holidays is to have a plan in place for what and when you are going to eat. This doesn't have to pertain really only to the holidays. I do this year round to make sure I'm never out somewhere where I can't eat anything. So let's talk about how you make this plan. And it really depends on your situation. So let's assume that you're eating out. My go-to thing that I do is I look at the menu in advance. Most restaurants will have their menu on their website. So browse through the menu, figure out what looks good and what fits in your eating plan. And by eating plan, I technically mean people think of that as diet. I don't like to use the word diet because, it just has a very negative connotation. So I use eating plan, because it could be your lifestyle. Let's say you follow a paleo lifestyle. It's not necessarily a diet. It's just how you eat. Okay, so if you're looking at the menu, you see that your options are limited, or it's really hard to tell from the menu, what ingredients they're incorporating in those dishes, call the restaurant. Ask if they can accommodate your dietary needs. Believe me, they'd be much happier to be prepared for when you do come into the restaurant and eat than caught completely off guard. When I lived in New York City, I did this all the time because of some of the restaurants, especially the ones that have set menus or, very small kitchens. A lot of times they can't accommodate you. So I have had to miss out on some pretty incredible meals just because kitchens wouldn't make food that I could eat. But it's better than going there and then not being able to eat anything. So, definitely call ahead, see if they can accommodate you. My other tip for eating out is to bring an allergy or food intolerance card with you that lists out your dietary restrictions. I personally use these when I travel to a foreign country that doesn't speak your language, but it's totally fine to do that, around your house or, in your neighborhood or to anywhere where they do speak your language. You simply list out all the things that you can't have, especially if it's a long list. It's much easier for the wait staff to bring it to the kitchen and they can look at it and make sure that some hidden ingredient isn't incorporated into your dish. In my newsletter this past week, I listed some sources for some allergy food cards that you can print online. So if you're not subscribed to my newsletter, definitely go to my website or in my Instagram bio. There's a link that you can sign up for the newsletter. It's only once a week. I don't spam you otherwise. So, if you want kind of updates on that, please do that. But, I'm going to tell you my worst dining experience is when I forgot to bring this card with me when my husband and I went to Quebec. So, you go to Canada, you think everyone speaks English, but in Quebec, most people actually speak French. So we were in this small town, in this tiny little, tiny town, tiny restaurant. There were 4 tables. The waitress didn't speak a lick of English. I don't speak French. It was so frustrating. I was starving. I was not prepared. Luckily, the table next to us was a group of 4 people, and one of them spoke English, so she was able to translate for us. But oh my gosh, it was a disaster. I was literally about to cry, and there was no other restaurant to go to. So I was so thankful for that person who helped translate for me. Okay, so that's eating out at a restaurant. Now let's assume that you are going to a friend or a family's house for a party or celebration. Again, I do this all the time, even for dinner. I tell them about my restrictions. So ask if they can accommodate you. Say, I do have a gluten and a dairy allergy. What were you planning on making? And if it's not something you can eat, offer to bring your own dish. Sometimes people get very overwhelmed if they're not used to cooking or, dealing with food sensitivities or allergies. And, especially if they're hosting a party, it can be kind of mind-blowing for them. So to not inconvenience them, I always offer to bring a dish that I can share with other people, and I know that it's safe for me to eat. So again, if this is out of your comfort zone, use COVID as an excuse. I love the fact that I have COVID to be I'm going to bring my own dish to your party so I know exactly what I can eat and I can make sure it's something I want to eat. Remember, COVID transmissions have been really high at small gatherings, so you're probably better off just bringing your own dish, period. But seriously, if the host or the hostess seems stressed out by your request, bring your own food. It will take a lot of pressure off of them. It's honestly, it is no big deal. I do this all the time. Okay, lastly, if you're going to a larger event, which I hope you're not, so save this for next year, where food might be out of your control, eat before you go. So, I'll give you one tip that I always do when I'm responding, RSVPing to a wedding or, some sort of party. I do write in I have a gluten and, dairy intolerance, please let me know if you could accommodate this. And that, lets the host know that, oh, let me talk to the kitchen to see if they can accommodate. Usually the kitchen will be able to do something for you. If it's something that's kind of out of your control, like it's past hors d'oeuvres and it's not something that you're super comfortable doing, I would just really eat before you go. That way you can eat some, you have your food, you have some food in your belly, you're not starving, and if by chance there's something there that you can eat, great, that's a bonus. You really don't want to be left starving at a party and sacrificing your health just because you didn't plan ahead. Again, I do this a lot. I even did this at my husband's cousin's wedding when I knew that I couldn't eat anything. I literally picked up food beforehand and ate it before the event started, so I was not, famished all night. Okay, so moving on, again, we're talking about tips for surviving the holiday. My next survival tip is make sure you practice self-care. Things can get super hectic during this time of year, and it's absolutely necessary to keep your stress minimized by taking time for yourself. Most of you are crazy busy with kids, especially if you have kids at home, doing school. Some of you may be caretakers for family members or friends. Others may be health professionals and you're in another line of work where you're used to putting others before yourself. Remember, you can only be at your best when you take the time to take care of yourself. I cannot stress that enough. So it is important when you do self-care to make sure that it's meaningful, effective, and efficient. So here are my go-to self-care practices. Epsom salt baths are amazing to do, and they have, it's a dual purpose, right? One, you get to relax. So I love doing them, after my kids go to bed. I grab a magazine. I've been a Us Weekly subscriber for years. It's just like my way to kind of offload all of the things going on in my day, my little guilty pleasure. So I'll take that in the bath with me and read it. So one, it helps you relax. And two, it also helps your body get ready for sleep so you have that really good night's sleep. And that is super important to make sure that you are rested so you have energy for the next day. My second go-to self-care practice is meditation. I meditate 15 minutes twice a day. Now, many of you are probably saying, who has time for that? That used to be me until I started doing it. And now I need those twice a day sessions just to feel calm and centered and focused and, really it helps me kind of get through my day. I learned how to meditate using a Ziva meditation. It's an online course. Fantastic. I highly recommend it. If you're not ready for that, or you just want something you can listen to, a more guided meditation, there are a ton of sources online. There's apps for that. So, you just have to find something that works for you. My last self-care practice is, what I call my mini spa treatments. I always love a good mask. I love a good facial roll. And my skincare routine is fairly simple. I do have a whole routine. I do use a number of products, but the 3 minutes that I spend every morning and evening is like a little treat to myself. I just love it. I know that I'm taking good care of myself. It's kind of, I'm alone in my bathroom and I get to put it on my face and, it's great. So, for those of you who don't know, I'm a Beautycounter consultant. I adore their products. They're cleaner and safer than many other products out there. So if you want to learn more about, what that line has to offer, please reach out. You can also shop my site at www.beautycounter.com/Annie Rubin, or send me a message and I will send it to you as well. All right, the last tip I have for surviving the holiday season is, make traditions that don't involve food. Again, a lot of times food is the center of everything. And if you have dietary restrictions, that makes it stressful. So this way, if you create other traditions that don't involve eating, you can enjoy the holidays without having to worry about, making a plan and doing all of that, or falling off the wagon with your eating plan. So here are some ideas that I'm just going to throw out. One is do a turkey trot. So we do the local turkey trot with my kids every year. They love the kids race. They get a t-shirt, they get a medal. It's awesome. This year, obviously, most of those are virtual. I would say grab a few friends or, get together with a couple other families outside and do your own turkey trot. If you really want to go full out, you can make t-shirts, you can create medals, you can have, a finisher podium, make it fun. Again, being physically active models really good behavior for your kids and for yourself. Getting out there, being outside, moving, it's so good for you and so important for your overall health. The second tip I have is to maybe decorate something. You can make turkeys out of, do like a hand print turkey, cut leaves out of construction paper and string them up around your house. You can do turkey coloring contests with your family and friends. You can make gingerbread houses. You can decorate your yard for the holiday. The options are endless. I would definitely hit up Pinterest for some arts and crafts ideas. I'm definitely not the most crafty person, so Pinterest is always my go-to for ideas to do, especially with my kids. Believe me, Pinterest was a lifesaver when the shutdown was in place and I was basically homeschooling my kids. So yeah, check that out for some fun holiday ideas. And then my last tip is to get outside, go on a family hike. If you have snow, go cross-country skiing, make a snowman, have fun with your family outside and just create memories that you can hopefully continue on, in the following years to, again, be able to celebrate without it being centered around food. All right, so just to recap, today we discussed survival tips for the holiday season to keep you on track with your eating habits. So I talked about getting a game plan in place for celebrations that involve food. I also discussed the importance of self-care and taking a few moments every day to make sure that you are taken care of, because you always worry about other people. It's time to take care of yourself. And lastly, I mentioned some new traditions that you can incorporate into your holiday celebration that don't include food. So for those of you who would like more help with your autoimmune diseases, your digestive issues, maybe reducing inflammation, weight management, stress, general wellness, I would love to chat with you. And if you want to get a head start on those 2020 resolutions, do it now before everyone else does it. And then all of us, health practitioners get our schedules totally packed in January with everybody, racing to kind of get a head start on their health. Why don't you just do it now? So I offer free 15-minute phone calls to chat more about your goals so you can learn about me and my process, as well as, it helps me learn about you and your process and to see if we're a good fit. So go to my website or in my Instagram bio for more information on how to reach me. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please join me next Friday for another nutrition discussion to help you achieve your goals. I'm always here live, 10 a.m., or you can watch the replay on Instagram or Facebook or on my YouTube channel. Have a safe weekend, and I will see you next week.